So I just found out, notified that there's a big, huge corporation that just annexed us, and it's a serious problem. So I guess I need to give you some background. As some of you may know, Carolyn and I bought this piece of property for $4,200, paid cash for it. We're debt free, have somewhat of a savings. We bought this with cash. Didn't go through a creditor or get loan papers or anything. Met the guy at the titling office. He was parked in the parking lot. I jumped in his truck. He showed us all the deeds and, you know, all the paperwork, and we showed him the cash, and then we went inside to the title company, got the title. I paid the title company the money, I paid him his money, and it was a handshake and we were out of there. It was just that simple. Oh, and people just were so upset about how we handled this. Oh, you need to get lawyers, and you got to do this and you got to do that. And maybe so, but I felt good with what we had. I mean, we went to the title company. It's kind of a guarantee that what he sold us is what he told us and all that. So he said it had a well on it. We came down, we looked at it. Yep, it had a well on it. Had a trailer here, a mobile home trailer. It was all falling down, and we built a tiny house on it. Now the tiny house, said many times, we built that on the trailer frame, and it only cost us about $5,000, and that's with everything. We spent about $500 a month, and we built it during the pandemic. A lot of it is secondhand materials. The windows we bought, well, two of the windows are used. One of them was brand new. It was still in the package, but we bought it at a yard sale. The door was used. All the OSB was secondhand. It was brand new. It was sitting in a shed or barn. Guy was going to build something, just never got around to it, started selling it all. So I built this by myself. I've never built anything. As a matter of fact, in a video I made a couple days ago, I was talking about that. I'll put an up next box at the end of this video to that video, so you can see that, you know, all the things I described. But Carolyn went on Facebook Marketplace and found everything. Now, like the siding, we bought that new. The wood stove, we bought it secondhand. It only been used twice, and I believed the guy, I really did. I don't think he had any reason to lie. It looked pretty clean. He even put it back in the original crate. The fire bricks were just slightly stained. And I installed that. And then I installed the solar panels. Told you about the solar panels many times, and we just moved those up the hill. We're getting all kinds of sunlight now. We got 1,000 watts. And just a little bit of a sidebar note, I've been telling you that I have figured out how to run the well almost totally off solar panels now. I used to run the generator every time I'd use the well because it just uses so much electricity. But now that I got solar panels moved up, I got that 2,000 watt pure sine wave inverter. I've ran it off the solar about 11 o'clock each day. Sun comes up and starts hitting solar panels about 9:30. Well, about 11:30, somewhere around there, the batteries are charged from overnight use from the freezer. So then I go and plug the well pump into the 2,000 watt inverter. Water comes out. I don't have enough solar panels to run it just off solar panels, so it's using some of the battery also. So I'm getting about 40 amps from solar and probably another 40 amps from batteries. Of course, it doesn't run a full hour, but that's how much it's drawing. So if it ran for an hour, it would be using 80 amps. So I would imagine for 15 minutes, I'm pulling, I don't know, maybe 30 amps, 20 amps, something like that. After I get the water filled up, I shut it off. Now the batteries have all day to charge again. Of course, Carolyn's son's going to use the air conditioner over the summer, so I don't know how well that will work. We'll have to figure that out, see if it's going to work. So the solar panels are now providing us with all of our electric. Granted, it's not been cloudy. I haven't ran the well pump on cloudy days, so I will have to still, on cloudy days, if I need water, run the generator. But it's getting a lot cheaper, and the longer we're here, the more I figure out. I mean, I remember when I first moved here, people were telling me I don't live off grid because, you know, I relied on solar, or I was buying my own food, or something. And so step by step by step, we've gotten closer and closer to being self-reliant. I wonder if those people will ever apologize that, oh, you know, you're never going to live off grid, you're a loser. So I feel vindicated. It's like when I built the truck camper, people told me the first time a bird hits it, it's going to break. Well, we were in the Grand Canyon and a bird did hit it. We were driving down the road. Bird hit it. I jumped out to see if anything went through. Nope, nothing went through. I mean, I recorded it just so everybody could see that a bird had struck it and nothing happened. Now, one of the things that's very important about us living off-grid is we don't have trespassers here. This is all going to come to a point, but it's very important in order for this lifestyle to work that this sign is abided by wholeheartedly. Just a few days ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, I made a video. A woman has come onto this property a couple times now, wants to talk to Carolyn. First time she came down, I answered the door and I said, as soon as I answered, I said, "You're trespassing." Now, a lot of commenters will tell me I was rude, that I should have allowed her to speak her piece. But if she would have gotten hurt, then I am liable for her injury. It's my responsibility. But if I tell her she's trespassing the instant I see her, then any injury she sustains is on her. She violated the sign, and then she violated me telling her to get off my property. To me, I think it's safer for both me and her for me to just be rude to her and tell her she's got to go. So I tell her she's got to leave. She's trespassing. She said, "I just want to talk to your wife real quick." And I said, "No, ma'am, you're trespassing. You must leave." And she says, "Well, I saw your wife washing laundry by hand and I wanted to sell her a wash machine." I said, "You're trespassing." "Well, at least let your wife know." Of course, my wife doesn't want a wash machine. I don't know, a while later, she comes back. Carolyn was cleaning up the old garden that we used to have when we were eating vegetables, but now we're carnivores. She's just cleaning up the yard and getting everything squared away. And a woman literally came around our property line. Now, we have to keep an easement. Now, I guess we could put a gate there, but from one property to the next, there has to be an entryway because of the electric lines. It's in the title. We have to do that. So she walked around on that person's property, trespassed on that person's property, to walk on our property so she could talk to my wife. What I find so amazing is you can't even see Carolyn from the road. I don't know how she spotted her. It's like she was spying, trying to figure this out. Carolyn has social anxiety. There are some people who just don't understand in the comment section that when I say Carolyn has social anxiety, she does not want to talk to anybody. She hates it. I've taken it on as my responsibility to protect her, shield her from that. Now, since we've been on the carnivore diet, her social anxiety's gotten better. That doesn't mean she wants to talk to people. For some reason, in the comment section, there are people who insist that this woman had a right to talk to Carolyn, that she had a right to be on our property. Like, well, she may have been just checking on Carolyn to see if I was abusing her. Well, then Carolyn can call the police. It's none of that woman's business what goes on this property. And this is the problem I have with social people, is they just clearly do not understand that there are people in the world who don't want to be bothered. And for whatever reason, they get angry when I tell you, don't bother me. Don't bother Carolyn. Obviously, this is abuse because Carolyn must want to talk to people. It's frustrating, and I hate even talking about it, but I told that woman to go. I grabbed that no trespassing sign, I walked it down there. I wasn't even going to tell her, I just held it in front of her face. She cannot be on this property. It is for her safety and mine. The only time I have to worry is if somebody wants to come onto the property and knock on the door, take the walkway, and they hurt themselves. I am responsible for that. What I try to do, since we're pretty isolated out here, is if somebody's coming across the road to talk to us, because I don't even leave parking space, they can't even get into our drive. And I'll try to catch them up here by the road so they don't come down. When FedEx and UPS come by, I always listen for them. UPS is pretty nice because they'll notify you via email that they're coming. So I'm watching for them, and when they get here, I just go up to the road and wait for them to get the package out of the back of the truck. That way they can't get hurt here. Now, it's my understanding that FedEx and UPS probably wouldn't sue us. They could, but they probably wouldn't. So it's important that people stay away. Now, another thing is if a kid decides he wants to cross our yard, and I let him cross our yard, and then one day he crosses our yard. Now, I've not said he's trespassing, but he continuously does it every day, even though I have a no trespassing sign. He does it every day, and then one day he hurts himself. Believe it or not, he is no longer trespassing because I gave him implied consent. I let him do it all the time, and I knew he was doing it. Now, if I didn't know he was doing it, if he was crossing in the woods back there and he got hurt, then that's still on him. But if I knew he was doing it and I just never said anything to him, then that is implied consent. I monitor this place pretty closely to make sure that nobody's trespassing. This last winter, I was talking about firewood and how a lot of people seem to think that firewood is so dangerous. And so the fire department in some areas will actually not come and put out your fire if you have a wood stove. They'll make sure nothing else around you burns, but they won't put out your house. I guess this is just laws they have. I'm not sure what it is. And then of course, there's a lot of insurance companies out there won't even cover you, or they'll raise your rate so high that you can't even afford it, where it's actually cheaper to just go ahead and run gas or electric or whatever it is you're running instead of wood stove because your insurance rates went up so high. This is one of the benefits of having a house that's $5,000. You know, people buy these mansions, they're in debt to buy it, and then they have to get insurance so they can have the loan. So you're paying an exorbitant amount of money on the insurance, you're paying an exorbitant amount of money on the interest for a house that you can't afford. It's obvious. If my house catches fire, I can literally go to Home Depot and get another one for 5,000 bucks that I do have the ability to pay for without insurance. So I self-insure. I make sure I have enough to cover the house and or the truck if something were to happen to the truck. Now I do carry insurance on the truck because liability gets pretty pricey. If I hurt somebody and they go to the hospital, I can't afford $100, $200, $1 million, whatever it's going to cost to get them better. So you got to weigh out what you can afford. It's cheaper for me actually. If the house, let's say the house is insured and they charge me a certain amount each month, in a few years, not having that insurance, as long as the house doesn't burn down, I will have saved money not having the insurance. Let's say in 10 years, I will have spent $5,000 on insurance and the house burns down. Well, then it pays for itself. But if the house doesn't burn down for 20 years or never burns down, then I'm basically paid 3 times what it costs for the house and never needed to use the money. But if I save the money and it never burns down, look at all the money I've saved. So it just makes sense to me not to have insurance, but also to have something that you can afford to do that with. If you're looking for all these luxury items and then you want to put a wood stove in, a luxury home and a luxury car, and then you want to put a wood stove in, and now you're mad because the insurance company won't cover you. Well, you can't have all of it. What is the dream? Is it the big house or is it the primitive wood stove? To me, it's the wood stove. I want the wood stove. So I just learned from a commenter that he put in solar panels on his house in Florida and his insurance company dropped him. Well, I replied and he never got back with me. I wanted to find out more about this, but he never got back with me. Well, as you know, Google monitors everything you say in your home. And so Carolyn and I was talking about this guy's insurance dropping him for having solar panels on his roof. Well, apparently Google heard that and gave me a news channel that I've never heard of before who was talking about this in Florida. So the news channel said, yeah, the insurance companies are dropping homeowners who went out and put solar panels on their home. So these companies are coming around. I know they're coming around because my dad was solicited just the other day. They're coming around asking you if you want to buy solar panels, and they cost up to $60,000 to put the solar panels in there, plus the battery backup and all that. Getting a loan. A lot of people can't afford $60,000, so they're getting a loan, hoping to save money eventually. Then they call their insurance company, or more likely what has happened is they have some sort of damage to the house. They call the insurance company, and the insurance company says, no, we're not covering you. They drop the insurance. Here we have this big, huge home, and I saw the pictures on the TV show, on the news channel. They are huge, beautiful mansion homes that they're saying, no, you're not covered. What it is they're putting these solar panels on the roof, and they're saying that the shingles could wear out. In Florida, apparently shingles wear out in 10 years. So you put solar panels up there, you get damage, and they're blaming the solar panels for the damage. So now what do? You've got roof damage. You thought you were paying into insurance, who's not going to cover you, and they dropped you and they took all your money. They're annexing homes. What they're doing is they're amending the contract. There was an original contract that, yeah, we'll cover you, but then you put solar panels on, and it's like, well, we didn't say you could have solar panels. Well, you didn't say we couldn't have solar panels either. So this is what frustrates me, is a company will charge you all this money, insurance company charges you all this money for all these years. So you have a budget, you're very careful to pay your insurance. Now, if you were able to save that money and you had roof damage, you could just take that money you've been given the insurance company and fix the roof. But since you've been giving it to the insurance company, you don't have that money, it's gone. So you're broke, and now they want you to fix your own roof. Everything is a scam in this country. In my mind, it is. And I like living as independently as possible, where everybody just leaves you alone and I leave them alone. Don't trespass, don't get hurt on my property, and we'll be fine. So if you'll click this up next box to take you to that video where I was talking about the solar panels. So hope I can inspire you to live independently so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.